G'day guys, Casey here from Lured In Fishing. Today I would like to show you how to use an old favourite, the ever popular Berkeley Powerbait. So Powerbait, super popular for trout fishing specifically. It's an artificial dough bait. It definitely has its place and it can be extraordinarily effective. It's made in a range of colours, different kind of sizes and shapes. So they do the nuggets, which are these guys here. They do the salmon eggs, which are quite a small little egg in a juice, and then they do the Powerbait dough, which is essentially the exact same as this, but just in a paste form. So Powerbait works really well, especially for stocked trout, which down here in Victoria, the work that fisheries are doing for the family fishing lakes, stock trout fishing is super popular and a whole lot of fun, a great way to get the kids out on the water. And I'm nearly certain that there'd be a couple of other states that this will be well and truly relevant to. So Powerbait, super effective, great to have in the tackle box, and the best way to fish it is very specific, and the reason being, this stuff floats. So we'll often see people trying to fish the Powerbait with a float, which can work, but you need to make sure you're adding a split shot to actually get that Powerbait to sink below your float. If you don't do that, your Powerbait could very well sit on the surface next to your float. My favourite way to fish Powerbait is on a running sinker rig. I'll show you how to tie one up, and then I'll show you one that I've already tied that has the appropriate hook sizes and line sizes for what I would typically use while fishing with Powerbait. So essentially, imagining this is our main line, we have a ball sinker, usually a size kind of 1A or 2 is applicable for most of your Powerbait fishing. It's usually in the lake, so you don't need a heap of weight. Then a small barrel swivel, so just a standard swivel there, and a hook. Now, for video purposes, going to be using big hook, this one here, which is a 3/0. Typically for Powerbait, a fine gauge octopus style hook in a size 6, size 8 or size 10 is usually applicable. The whole thing is you want your hook to be super lightweight so that the Powerbait has the ability to float. So what we're going to do is thread our ball sinker, bean sinker, barrel sinker, any running sinker onto our main line. We can slide that up, save it for later. We're then going to attach our swivel using a uni knot. So we go through one side of our swivel, we double our lines, we pinch at the base. With our tag end, we make a loop, pinch that also, and then we're going to wrap our tag around and through our loop 3 to 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to pull that tight, making sure we lubricate our knots, and then pull that down to our swivel, and grab a pair of scissors, trim off your tag end. That's one side of our swivel attached. We're then going to connect our leader. So same thing, in the other side of the swivel, tag through, and I do once again back-to-back uni knot, single uni knot. We're going to pinch at the base, going to, with our tag end, wrap around, through that loop, 1, 2, 3 times. Oops. 1, 2, and 3. Pull that one up tight, and then lubricating our knot and sliding it down to our swivel. Trim your tag end, and to the end of our leader, where we're going to attach our hook. So with our hook, through the eye, uni knot once again, double your lines, pinch at the base, loop with your tag, and through the loop. 1, 2, 3. Pull it up, lubricate, and pull down. So that is our running sinker rig. We have sinker running on our main line, our swivel, our leader, and our hook. Now with the power bait, the whole idea of being a floating bait is that our hook is small enough that with a piece of power bait on there, it'll actually float up off the bottom. So it'll come up off the bottom. Our sinker will act as an anchor to stop it from coming up any further than the length of your leader. Now typically with power bait, I'll run a leader anywhere from 30 centimeters to 60 centimeters, depending on the kind of bottom where I'm fishing. So if I'm fishing quite a barren bottom, just a clay bottom or a rock bottom in a river, I'll typically run that quite short, about 30 centimeters long. If I'm fishing in one of the lakes that has quite a bit of growth on the bottom, so anything like any weed, or if it's a snaggy rocky bottom and I want to keep my hook up off the bottom, I'll run that quite a bit longer at around 60 centimeters. The whole idea with the floating power bait is a trout will come along, they will see that bright orange, bright pink, bright yellow piece of power bait pretty much right where they're cruising, and they won't resist it. They will eat it as they cruise through. They're not a fish that typically gets their nose down and feeds directly on the bottom. They will feed kind of a foot or two off the bottom, hence why the power bait can be so effective. To show you an actual power bait rig, grab one that I've got over here. So this is tied on some much lighter line. This stuff here, so this is my main line. I have a very small running sinker. I have a very small light little swivel there. And then we have a tiny, tiny little hook, if you can see that one there, which is perfect for our power bait. So with the nuggets, just pin them through, kind of mold them around the hook. Same with the dough. With the salmon eggs, you just want to put your hook straight through them. Don't mess with them too much. They can crumble away quite easily. Another really popular hook option for power bait is a really light gauge, small treble hook. Because you're molding this kind of dough bait around your hook, it holds exceptionally well on a treble hook, and you can get a really, really good hookup rate on trout using that. What I find is also quite popular with the salmon egg power bait is to actually put one little egg on each hook, giving you a really natural looking cluster of salmon eggs, which once again can be deadly effective on rainbow and brown trout. So when you're fishing power bait, you must know there are right and wrong ways to do it. That is one of the best, simplest and most effective ways to fish with this super, super popular bait.